minutos, papi, ¿sí?
Good evening, everybody. Happy Thursday.
Hey,
Uh,
you didn't send me for the link. Hola.
Good evening, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome. It's been an eventful day. Lots to talk about. We're going to talk about Papi Trump getting indicted. And also, we have a lot of questions in regards to the Elon Musk money that was brought up today by a fellow friend. Good evening, Erasmo. How's it going?
It's going good, Frankie, and thank you so much for taking over tonight. I'm going to be on very, very quickly, and if you don't mind, if we could talk about the BCIC funds, and then if you can let me go, that'd be great. I am in Mexico City. I'm doing a wedding this weekend, and then I'll be back on Monday. But if you don't mind, let's go into the BCIC, and then you could go forward with that.
Let's go. Get into it.
Well, let me say, guys, one of the things that, again, one of my number one priorities out there for running for mayor of the city of Brownsville, and actually, one of the first things that I plan to do as mayor of the city of Brownsville is wipe clean all these boards and committees. One of the things that we learned today in regards to the BCIC was how a lot of the individuals that got funds in order to upgrade, to make better, now they're finding themselves in a little pickle because they're not following the guidelines specifically. So BCIC could actually go back and say, you know what, bitch better have my money. Give us back our money. A couple of things that I want to mention in regards to that, Frankie. First of all, isn't it funny how when they dish out cash and it's not used completely to what the people don't follow the guidelines, then they're ready to go out there and sue the people of Brownsville, sue small business in order to get the money back. So at the end of the day, what I'm concerned with is all these small businesses that are put into, got money during COVID and everything else. BCIC is threatening to ask for the money back. That's crazy, considering that 1% of the individuals in the city of Brownsville were the ones that mostly benefited from that money. And it's something that you and I have been screaming about, Frankie, and not the people as a whole. Brownsville as a whole has not benefited from Elon Musk money. Now the rumor is that Elon Musk, your papi, Frankie, papi Elon, is ready to pull back and say, "Yeah, chale," because he didn't get his bang for his buck. Look, the guy gave $10 million, Frankie, $10 million for the city of Brownsville, and these guys squandered the opportunity by, as of right now, only spending $2 million, and then Elon getting a bad rap in regards to everything.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions in regards to that. It's been 2 years since that money was awarded, was given to a select few. And one of the biggest arguments that we have had from the very beginning is that we want all of Brownsville to have access to those resources. But it seems at Osmo as if it was only a selected few that knew the guidelines, that knew where the money was. Because whenever you asked other business owners, they had no idea.
And that's what's unfortunate, that for far too long, individuals that could have benefited from the Elon Musk money and the money that was coming into the city of Brownsville, uh, you know, uh, individuals that don't have the resources of Trey Mendez, John Cowan, Jessica Tetro, these individuals, they really could have benefited from those $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. But John Cowan, Jessica Tetro, and Trey Mendez are so damn greedy that they want everything for themselves. That's why these individuals, I mean, look at the article that Juan Montoya threw out today, guys. This guy is not even from Brownsville, Solana. benefited greatly from purchasing a lot of property out there, in the city, downtown, because they knew, it's all connected, guys. They knew that they were going to benefit in some way, shape, or form. So they continue to shuffle money into the pockets of the 1%, and not into the economy of the citizens of Brownsville as a whole. And that's what's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that the citizens of Brownsville as a whole have to pay for every single little tranza that these guys make, like Canasca, like Ciclovia, like the Bridge for Nowhere. And it's a constant one after another. We continue to pay for these things, and these guys continue to make themselves rich off the backs of the poor people of Brownsville.
Erasmo, as mayor, Erasmo, what would be um, your goal in regards to Elon Musk, in regards to that money? What would be your suggestion?
Well, first of all, the first thing that I'm going to do is, of course, I've already stated and I'm going to do it. Wipe clean every boarding committee out there that continues to pocket the money, the resources of the citizens of Brownsville. It's the first thing. Guy, Frankie, we have to go out there and reach out to the Musk Foundation. We got to go out there and apologize and let them know that there's a new sheriff in town, there's a new administration, there's a new way of doing things. And really, Frankie, say, hey guys, let us come back to the table. Let's negotiate something that benefits the city of Brownsville as a whole, because now the game has changed. We have an opportunity before us this election cycle to change the game, to make things different, to bring back a new day for the city of Brownsville. There's an opportunity out there. We've got to put the resources that come into the city of Brownsville into that which actually serves the city of Brownsville. And again, and I hate, you know, constantly saying it, our first responders got screwed by this city commission. The citizens of Brownsville got screwed by the city commission. It is up to the first responders and the citizens of Brownsville to make sure that these guys never again have an opportunity, Frankie, to kick us in the groin.
What's your position at Osmo? Would you want to allocate some of this money, a quarter of this money, a portion of this money, to other entities within the city of Brownsville, like let's say the zoo? Was that something that you would be all in favor of?
Definitely. And look, Frankie, for a lot of politicians out there saying, "Oh, we've got to help the zoo," it may be a political talking point, because that's one of the things, one of the priorities that one of my opponents has put on their signs. Oh, helping out the zoo, bitch. Where were you these past 4 years? Why didn't you help the zoo in these past 4 years? When you were in a position, Frankie, to actually be proactive and help the zoo, he did nothing. Jessica Tetro did nothing. It's time for change. What what is to make us believe that these two individuals are going to do anything for the zoo, and if they were given 4 more years to serve on the commission? I mean, you've got to be crazy to think that these individuals actually care about what happens. Look, guys, we have got to upgrade our zoo. I don't know if you've noticed, Frankie, but going down 7th Street, Frankie, they're starting to do the cannery. And more power to the citizens of Brownsville. But all this is another one of Rose Gowan's pet projects, a cannery there in the midi cultural little area, Frankie, the one that has those orange signs. Frankie, why couldn't that property have been given to the zoo, Frankie? Why? Why is it that our zoo is always like on the back burner of these people's thoughts? Like inconsequential, not important. The zoo should have been first before the middies, but because the middies put money in the pockets of Brian Martinez, Roy de los Santos, John Cowan, Jessica Tetro, even, because they put money in those people, they get to do whatever the hell they want. It's done. It's over. And I'm sorry, Dynamity, but look, you still haven't reached out to us, the people. I'm still waiting because you were supposed to give us a call and we were supposed to have a conversation in regards to what is your reason for being here in the city of Brownsville. And look, as much as you may say that I don't have a, I'm no one for you to have a conversation with, screw you. I'm a resident citizen of Brownsville. I want answers to my question. I sent you a message not long ago. My father was murdered Sunday morning. Please ask for you to post my dad's I did post, Dominic. I did post the GoFundMe page. It's one of the first things that I did, and I will continue to share it, Dominic. Please continue to send it to me. And again, understand that I do get hundreds, if not hundreds of hundreds of messages a day. Please continue to send it. But I did share that GoFundMe page, and my prayers to you, my prayers to the family, and my prayers to all local law enforcement.
And
Frankie,
yeah,
I'm in the middle of the street. I'm going to sign off. Frankie, have a great show, Frankie. I mean, you get more ratings when you're on by yourself than you do with me on there.
sweet. I'll kick you off then.
Appreciate you guys. God bless. Tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock.
Have a safe trip, my man. Now that Erasmo is gone, and before I was rudely interrupted, if you're currently watching on any of Erasmo's links, make sure you go to Frankie Olivo, the Frankie Olivo page, and I'm actually going to share it right now. But don't tell him that I told you. He might get a little bit upset, but hey, you wanted me on the show? Pues, que le cueste. So if you're watching right now, get off Erasmo's page, go to Frankie Olivo page, and watch the show. Going to talk about two key topics that came up today. Of course, the breaking news that we got this afternoon was Papi Trump. Papi Trump is indicted, and on my Frankie Olivo page, I have my friend Eric Cabrera saying, "Are you done crying? Are you done crying about Trump?" Now, this, as we all can agree, this was strategically done. We all heard of the grand jury in Manhattan meeting, or supposed to meet, and for whatever reason, it didn't go through. They said that it wasn't going to happen. That if former President Trump would be indicted, it would be next week or the following week. The allegations or the rumors of this indictment was because of the hush money that was paid to Stormy Daniels back in the day. Now, the interesting thing was that the DA's office, and again, the district attorney's office, they do a great job. The assistant district attorneys here in Cameron County, but much less in Manhattan, they did a brilliant job of not, again, according to preliminary reports, it is stated that Papi Trump is indicted on 30 counts of business fraud. Now, the interesting thing was that we all thought that he was going to get indicted for this hush money that was to be paid for this alleged affair. And as we all know, back in 2016, when he ran for president of the United States, this came up. But again, there is a civil lawsuit that took place. Some have stated that it was the judge on that case heavily favored the former president, and he sided against Stormy Daniels. Today, Stormy Daniels did go on her OnlyFans, and she did state that now she's ready to testify against Papi Trump. One thing that I do want to state is we have seen how this current administration, the Biden administration, how they just haven't done just about anything when we look and talk about the important issues affecting the United States. Border security, inflation is through the roof. We're currently in Ukraine. There's nothing that the Democrats have been able to stand on and say, look what we're doing for America. It seems as if in every press conference that the press secretary comes on, it's always she's always fumbling her words. She's always saying, "Oh, our president is doing amazing," but in reality, our borders are open. Inflation is through the roof, and currently, right now, we are on the biggest stage right now. We seem weak politically, and again, before anybody attacks me and says, "Oh, you're just gonna favor Trump," but let's take a look. President Trump was raided, indicted. Roger Stone, Steve Bannon, Giuliani, all key Republican figures in the Trump team. have felt the wrath of the Department of Justice. When we talk about the Democratic side, the Clintons, Hunter Epstein, and the famous laptop, the Epstein clients that, for whatever reason, the FBI has kept a close lid on this, and also the DC insider trades. Nancy Pelosi, she has made herself a fortune compared to us small people trying to make it big. Now, what is relevant about this? Well, this is very important because this is the first time in U.S. history that a former president has been indicted. Again, it was strategically done because, again, we all thought that this was going to happen down the road. This was kind of like done in secrecy. And again, all grand juries, they do convene, they do meet in behind closed doors. Everything is tight-lipped, but this was super tight-lipped. None of us expected for former President Trump, current Republican candidate for the presidency in this upcoming presidential election, to get indicted. Now, this is very significant because, again, we all could see the writing on the wall. If you look at the polls, if you ask people, how are you satisfied with the current administration? Is the United States going in the right direction in your eyes? Right now, according to the polls, and again, it depends what polls you read, Fox News, ABC. According to the polls, President Biden has very, very low numbers compared to other previous presidents around this time, around the third, fourth year in their presidency, which leads many to believe, the Democrats are in trouble. And again, I don't want to sound redundant, but inflation, the war in Ukraine, where we have spent billions of dollars on there, our open borders. Have we heard from the Biden administration? Have we heard from Kamala Harris, the border czar? Have we heard from Vicente Gonzalez, the the Democratic congressman for District 34? Have we heard of anything? Maybe you have. I haven't. Our borders are broken. And it's funny because whenever something goes bad, the simple thing to do is, let's blame Trump. Our banking system. Not too long ago, we had the issues with, was it Wells Fargo or Bank of America? It seems as if the global banks, the dollar is not as strong as it once was. And what is the easy cop out, in my opinion? Well, let's bring up Papi Trump's mishaps. Let's make sure that Papi Trump is indicted. The banking system is collapsing. Inflation is through the roof. Open borders. What's the logical thing to do for the Democrats? Is indict Trump. Now, I'm not saying that nothing wrong was done, but when you really look at the big picture, ladies and gentlemen, you and I can agree that it seems, and again, this is my personal opinion. You have yours, I have mine. It seems as if the White House is weaponizing the Department of Justice to their favor. If they could do this at the highest level of all the land of the free and the democratic, where Lady Liberty is blind, if this could happen to a person such as that, and again, I understand no one is above the law, my friends say. And while I do agree, but at the end of the day, some will call it a political witch hunt, a dark day in America. Sansu, why? Because again, if it could happen to President Trump, it could happen. It could happen to you and I. And Sansu makes a great point. Right now, on the global stage, ladies and gentlemen, the United States looks weak. And I don't, I say this with all due respect. I don't want to sound mean or ugly, but our president is not fit. Again, this is my personal opinion. He's not fit to lead. He fumbles his words. He doesn't seem to know what's going on. I posted a few days ago when we had the Nashville shooting, when those poor innocent people, children and staff, were killed. Papi Biden came on the tube, and the first thing that he said was, "Oh, thank you for coming to the White House." And the first thing that he said on the day of the shooting, he said, "Who are those good-looking kids over there?" You're like, what? People are mourning. People are devastated. And you come to us and say these shenanigans? Again, on the world stage, Sansu said it, in my opinion, Sansu said it right. China is eating our lunch while we are dealing with Biden and his lack of attention towards these important issues that we're dealing with here as U.S. citizens. China and Russia and the African nations, they're developing their own coalition, and they are gaining strength. My friends just showed me not too long ago that now China, Russia, Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia, the Saudis, they got big bucks, ladies and gentlemen. They will no longer be using the US dollar. Can you picture how important that is when two big nations, well, China in money, because again, China right now is dominating in resources and manpower, but the Saudis, the oil, the big bucks, they're no longer going to be using the dollar. So that makes us weak economically speaking, and in the eyes of the world. And you're absolutely right, Sansu. It is alleged, and Papi Trump did state on social media that the reason why the district attorney is moving forward with this is because he is funded by Soros. Soros, from the little bit that I know of this individual, he is a Democratic billionaire who heavily invests in lots of campaigns, and he has a lot of power. And he pretty much made it known that, and so has the district attorney of Manhattan. He has previously mentioned that he will go after any political enemies, that they might have. Andas bien dolido. No, I'm not. What bothers me is, and what I want you, Mr. Valdez, Julio Valdez, to think about is that they are using the Department of Justice to do this. We could even talk about how an individual here in the city of Brownsville had used their power while in office to use the police, to use law enforcement, to use our own Department of Justice, our own judicial, I wouldn't say judicial system, but our own law enforcement, the badge. Isn't this an abuse of power whenever a sitting city commissioner sends the police whenever her constituent, a voter, is protesting? And I'm not sure if you can see this, Valdez. Let me blow it up for you. This is a concerned citizen, a constituent that feels that his representative has not been doing everything in her power. Everything in her power. And my friend Eric Cabrera stated, I guess you are still butthurt. No, my man, no. I'm not butthurt, Cabrera. I'm not hurt, Valdez. What bothers me, Cabrera and Valdez, and the world watching, is that we should fear whenever our government weaponizes at the highest level at the White House, at the highest level here in our city of Brownsville. They use the police. Wouldn't you be afraid? Wouldn't you be worried whenever someone in power uses their position to intimidate, to go after you, Valdez? So, no, I'm not dolido. We all expected this to happen. And again, this is my opinion, what I feel is going to happen is many people are going to get pissed off. Many people are going to see through this smoke screen and say, you're using this to your advantage. Again, that's how I see it. So, ando dolido? Nah, I sleep well at night. I live a very good life. I'm not dolido. But again, what bothers me, Valdez and Cabrera, my brother Cabrera, is we should fear whenever those in power weaponize, use their position, take advantage of their position to do something like this to a citizen in the city of Brownsville. Here you have a man standing in a very busy intersection in the city of Brownsville. He's protesting, as we are all given a right to do so, peacefully protesting, showing his displeasure with the city commissioner. And what do we see? We see the police going after him and saying, hey, and many people have said, oh, he was in the right of way. No, he was sent there to get rid of him, to make sure, hey, you can't be here. But again, is this man causing a ruckus? Is he causing harm to other individuals? Absolutely not. The constituent was protesting peacefully of his displeasure with his representative. And what happened? What did we see? We saw our government go to him and say, hey, you better quit your stuff. If not, you're going to jail. So, Cabrera, like Jim Carrey said on Liar Liar, stop breaking the law, butthole. Again, we could talk about, no one is above the law. We can all agree to that. But when you really look at it, why aren't the Democrats going after Epstein and his clients? So you mean to tell me that Maxwell, his assistant, was charged with trafficking and exploiting of young underage women, but there are no clients, there are no people that these incidents occur? Again, she was found guilty by a jury of her peers. So you mean to tell me that that's not relevant? That we're going to go after a porn star? And again, if this is what happened, well, Papi Trump's gotta face the piper. I thought this was kind of hilarious. Let he who has never paid $135K for a campaign money to a porn star cast the first stone. So, Cabrera, Valdez, am I dolido? No, sir, absolutely not. I'm not dolido. What bothers me is that if it could happen in the highest land possible, where our president and his administration weaponizes and uses the Department of Justice to go after a rival, what do we expect here in the city of Brownsville? Don't we see much of the same issues? Don't we see the same thing going on? You might say, oh, you're just using this to your advantage. But when you really think about it, isn't this a similar analogy, Valdez, and the world watching? It happened at the White House, the highest land possible. The Democrats in office have used the Department of Justice and the Manhattan District Attorney's Office to go after Papi Trump. We saw a constituent here this past week who was protesting peacefully. What did we see? We saw the law. We saw the law go after him. You can expect a president to fix something. Another president left. It's impossible. Trump was wrong. Just admit it. Sounds like Brownsville. If he did something, he's got to pay the piper. I'm not covering up for no one. Since taking office January 1st, Bragg has downloaded 52% of felony cases to misdemeanors. Oh, Trump. He's talking about the district attorney. He has many felony cases. He has, I don't want to say dumb it down, but charged them as a misdemeanor. I have read that as well. Candela says, I agree with you. Let's get ready to rumble. Yes, sir. And who was Trump funded by? Come on. They're all one and the same. I'm not here to say Papi Trump is right and he's an angel and everyone else is the devil. And I'm not saying that. They're all one of the same. You and I can agree to that. American justice system should never be weaponized for political grandstanding. That's what I want to convey to the world, Sansu, that people shouldn't use their positions to influence, to harm, to intimidate us residents. We saw it at the highest level, and we saw it and we saw it here in the city of Brownsville. Vote for Katy Presas, Susan Rubalcaba, and Erasmo Castro. You heard it here first. The police can't pull over until you commit a crime. It's called probable cause. They had no probable cause when they started looking for a crime against Trump. Go out and vote early. We are 30 days away, if I'm not mistaken. We early voting starts April. I want to say the last week of April. I gotta look at my calendar. But for time's sakes, it's the last week of April, and early voting is May the 6th. Reyes says, like Trump once said, if they can do this to me, imagine what injustices they can do to the people, innocent until proven guilty. I love it when Democrats cheer for this, but ignore their very own, the Democrats who break laws. We talked about the Clintons. Clinton is alleged to have been on that flight to Nolita with Jeffrey Epstein, and he was a client for many years. Again, allegedly. Don't come down on me, NSA. Don't come down on me, marshals. It isn't just the government; it's also corporations doing the same thing. Again, money talks. BS walks. Trump's was upgraded. I believe so. I believe it was upgraded. Papi Trump used his own money on the first campaign. Yeah, there is that Michael Cohen issue where Michael Cohen paid her from an LLC, but then Trump reimbursed him, and Then we have the whole issue of Stormy Daniels writing that affidavit where she states that nothing happened. We didn't have an affair. It was all BS. Now she's coming out later and saying, "Oh, I was forced to write this. I was against my will, and if I didn't do this, they would have harmed me." Things of that nature. Daniel Salinas from Brownsville Tech Live states, BTL broke the missing Elon Musk story the week before last when Mr. Almada was interviewed. Everyone yawned. Now everyone is asking where the $10 million is. Really? Where's the $2 million? We've been told the $8 million was held back, but let's not forget about the $20 million donated to BISD. Where's the $20 million? $2 million for the murals and $20 for the lampposts. Time for the Freedom of Information request. Thank you, Danny, for bringing that up. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. We are wrapping up with Papi Trump's indictment. Again, if you're watching me on Erasmo show, get off the show and go to Olivo Frankie or Frankie Olivo and watch the show there. But don't tell him because he won't feed me no more. Shh. Go on the Frankie Olivo show. And you don't think, did it use the Department of Justice to go after people that were against him? Again, Mr. Keith, it goes both ways. I'm not here to say that one is better than the other. I'm not here to say that Papi Trump is an angel. Again, I am against oppression. I am against people using their power, whether that be Papi Biden or Papi Trump. I'm against that. I'm against people using their position to intimidate, to harm, to persecute, to weaponize either the Department of Justice or the my friends are blowing me up on the other one. 34 counts against him, like Jim Carrey said, liar, liar. Stop breaking the law, butthole. Carlos Hernandez Warley says, if this backfires, is a guaranteed win for Trump. Also, shout out to the Cabreras and my new neighbors at Landfall. I believe, and I want y'all to give me your opinion. Don't you think that this is going to piss off the people and say, hey, the Democrats, they're using this to their advantage? Don't you think this is going to rile people up and say, man, we really got to hit it hard. We got to hit the campaign hard. We got to make sure we bring this red wave. Woo! The red wave in a year of the presidential election. Again, I always said during the midterms, it's going to be hard to get people out to vote. Everyone comes out in the presidential races. We all know everybody comes out to vote. We all have large numbers, especially here in the city of Brownsville. The midterm elections, it is hard to get people out. But I do think, Warley, I do think that this is going to backfire, in my opinion. I do think that with this indictment, this will lead to Papi Trump becoming the 47th president, 47th president of the good U.S. of A. Don't we have amendment rights? So what happened to that guy? It's the government. It's hard to go against Big Brother. So feed the nation, feed the sheep. I need to feed my people. So between Stormy and Michael, you only have weak witnesses. You make a good point, Sansu. Again, we have two individuals. That one, Michael Cohen, his attorney, he pled guilty to, I want to say fraud or embezzlement. No, not embezzlement. That was Ancinati. But we do have two sketchy, let's call it that, Sansu. We do have two sketchy witnesses with Stormy, prostitute, and the attorney that went to jail. Good point. Better said, they punched down, Frankie. You're absolutely right. Those on top, they use their position to punch down. But at the same time, they want to get votes away from DeSantis, who the Democrats think is more difficult to beat. I'm kind of torn on that. In my opinion, I feel as if Papi Trump is going to be stronger than DeSantis. I think that's why DeSantis right now, he's kind of getting a feel for it. Currently, right now, he is set to travel to Israel, and they're giving him that platform. He's going to speak at, I forget what convention, but they want him to speak at that on that stage because people are going to see him in regards to foreign policy and foreign politics, and they want to put him in that limelight and say, this is the Republican candidate that we need. As of right now, according to the polls, and again, if you're like me, I'm kind of sketchy about the polls. Right now, Papi Trump is leading DeSantis by a fairly large margin. I think it's in the double digits. But again, could the Democrats be using this, Sansu, for their own convenience because they prefer Papi Trump to have all this baggage compared to DeSantis? It could be. Miss Elizabeth says it's a political witch hunt to hurt Trump. That's what I say. Eric Cabrera says, you thought Mayra was going to win. I fought with Mayra. I believe in Mayra. And if Mayra runs again, I will certainly support her and voice my opinion. Hopefully, we can have her in office because, in my opinion, Vicente Gonzalez has not done he's done a good job so far. But me personally, being from Brownsville, I want to be more vocal in regards to PUB. I haven't heard anything about that. Miss Elizabeth once again states election early voting is April 24th through May the 2nd. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you so much, guys. Go and vote. City elections early voting April 24th through May the 2nd. Thank you so much. And again, election day is May the 6th. Now for our feature story. What happened? What happened to all that money? Danny Salinas from Brownsville Tech Live made a great and interesting point last week. And if you haven't signed on, make sure you go to Brownsville Tech Live, like, subscribe, share their page. They've had awesome candidates, people, important people in the city of Brownsville go on his show and try and give their 2 cents, either of their political platform. He's had Pat Almada, Carlos Cascos, current Brownsville City Commission candidates on there. And Danny Salinas makes a very interesting point. He says, hey, Papi Must donated so much money. What was it, Danny? 30 million in total, 20 million to BISD, 10 million to the city of Brownsville. Where has that money gone? And unfortunately, Erasmo started the show off by stating, hey, it was only a small few entrepreneurs, business owners, predominantly in the downtown area, that received this money. Now, many individuals have stated that the reason why, and we can talk about this all day, ladies and gentlemen. There were guidelines set for those who would qualify, who would be able to get these grants to refurbish, to remodel their businesses. And they said, you know what, we're doing this. Papi Musk is doing this because he wants downtown Brownsville to be hot. He wants it to be a vibe, how the youngsters say. He wants it to be popping. He wants it to be, like an Austin, like a Bourbon Street. And as we all know, Brownsville right now, currently, we were sold on the idea of Boca Chica to Mars. And let's not kid ourselves. By having the world's richest man and SpaceX in our backyard, whether you're an environmentalist or whether you're just an average Joe, such as myself, this really put Brownsville on the map. And people from England, from Australia, from all parts of the globe have traveled here. Why? Because they want to see and they want to know, what is the world's richest man doing in South Texas, in the city of Brownsville. We were sold on the idea that Brownsville will be the launching site to Mars. Boca Chica to Mars, we thought. Well, we slowly found out that Boca Chica is just a testing site. Isidro, make sure you like my page, Isidro. Comment. Give me stars, Isidro. Love you, man. We were sold on the idea that Brownsville would be Boca Chica to Mars. Slowly, after several years, recently, I would say maybe close to about a year ago, we found out that Florida was going to be the site in which the actual launches were going to take place. So Elon Musk, with all his richness, said, you know what? I'm going to give money to BISD, 20 million. I'm going to give money to Brownsville to invest, to make it popping, to make it thriving. And Danny Salinas, if you haven't already, once again, go to Brownsville Tech Live, like, subscribe, share his page. Make sure you follow him. He did state, and he did talk about this before many people did. He said, where's that money? BISD, do we have an accounting of that money? Based on preliminary reports, when that money was, or when he stated that he was going to donate that money, and it wasn't only BISD, it was Cameron County Schools as well, but BISD got 20 million. The idea was that it was going to be used for technology, engineering, to develop the minds of our students, to make them want to do what Elon Musk is doing, to be entrepreneurs. But what have we seen from BISD as of late? They even got over 100 and, correct me if I'm wrong, where's Miss Maggie? Maggie, where are you? They even got over $100 million from the ESSER funds from COVID. And we still don't have teachers getting adequate raises. Shout out to Albert Cabrera, my fellow correspondent at South Padre Island. He shared with me that San Antonio was going to be giving a huge raise for their employees, a raise that they haven't seen in X plus years. And Brownsville, being a Fortune 500 company, Brownsville, BISD has a budget, ladies and gentlemen, of $500 million. Danny Salinas, where did that money go? Do we have an accounting of that money? I don't believe so. But again, in Brownsville, we were told that we needed this money because it was what Musk wanted. And Danny was right. That money that we know of was spent on lights, was spent on the border, on the Pepto wall, the B-Tex, the purple painting, which angered many people. But one interesting thing, ladies and gentlemen, that came up this week was a statement that was posted by Mr. Zeke Silva, and it reads, "Just when I thought things were getting better for Brownsville, this is why we need to vote for the right people." Very disappointing article. And we'll get to the article in just a bit. This is Elon Musk money, not the taxpayers' money. These are Elon Musk's rules or demands. Elon wants to see downtown blossom. He wants to give Brownsville millions to improve how downtown looks and how the world sees Brownsville. He was going to give $10 million to start. I was told he had his close advisors from his foundation thinking that he was giving $45 million to help out small businesses get going. It's been over 2 years, and BCIC hasn't been able to give away $2 million because city employees, board members, and elected officials want to award themselves the $2 million. He found out, and he was furious. Freaking embarrassing. Imagine what he thinks of us because of them. And we wonder why we are the poorest in the U.S. 12 straight years. We kicked the richest man in the world in the pelotas and make them feel like a dumb butt for taking pity on us and trying to help us. We need to help each other is what he is saying. But no, that's difficult for elected officials and those they appointed to the boards. We need to say no to bad leadership or the lack of real leadership. Jessica Khalifa Tetro, a current candidate for mayor for the city of Brownsville, she's a major part of the problem. And the article that Mr. Zeke Silva was mentioning was one that was brought up by Juan Montoya. And Juan Montoya is a great investigative journalist here in the city of Brownsville. He does better work than the Brownsville Herald. His article that he stated was that BCIC, a mushroom board, keeps granting in dark, feeds them crap. His story goes on to say that there was only a few individuals that were awarded this money. That none of the rest of Brownsville wasn't awarded. They weren't known. It was only a select few that were given this money. And according to Zeke Silva, once he found out that only a few were getting this money, he was ticked off. Why? Because the Mexican crab, ladies and gentlemen, the Mexican crab wants that money. Screw the residents of Brownsville. Gimme, 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 gimme. I've always said this, ladies and gentlemen. Why do people run for public office? Is it because they want to provide a better quality of life for you and I? Because they want to make sure that your children have a better future, that they don't have to go off to Dallas, that they don't have to go off to Tennessee, such as my brothers. They have to go to Midland, such as my brothers, to find a better quality of life. Ain't that why people run for the city of Brownsville? Or maybe they spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, such as John Cowan, such as Jessica Tetro, such as Trey Mendez. They spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a position that pays nothing. We ask ourselves, why would individuals pay thousands and thousands of dollars for this? Por la feria. The citizens of Brownsville want to know, where is the $10 million promised? Danny, where is the $20 million promised to BISD? Where did that money go? Why is it that a certain few got that? Jim Barton from the Brownsville Observer had a great piece, a great article. He stated that the reason why current mayor Trey Mendez is not running was because he was caught with his hand in the cookie jar when he requested $280,000 from this BCIC Elon Musk money grant on this Coca-Cola building that's downtown. Many asked themselves, damn, how does a mayor get so much money? Well, now we know. Jim Barton, and I put him up there with Juan Montoya, with Erasmo Castro, with Jerry McHale. Four individuals that have been at the forefront. They have done investigative journalism, something that our Herald does not do. Why? Because they fear that the politicians will silence them, will have them fired, will make sure that they no longer have a job. Where did those $2 million go to? Where did those $30 million go to, Danny? $20 million to BISD, $10 million to the city of Brownsville. We are living in a society, ladies and gentlemen, where people run for office because it is convenient for them, because they know that there is a lot more in that pie. Sure, I'll spend $100,000, but within my 4 years, I can make sure that myself, my compadres, my family, my Sancha, my Sancho, my kids, toda la familia, we'll make sure that we're fat, and we'll make sure that we have either generational wealth, generational opportunities. So, why do people run for public office? Is it because they want to provide a better quality of life for you and I? Because they want to make sure that your children are promised a better tomorrow. We have two mayoral candidates, ladies and gentlemen, that are asking for your vote. One has spent 12 years on the city commission. Another one has spent 4. Have you heard them be vocal? Have you heard them talk about PUB and wanting to give back your money and say, what is going on? We need to get to the bottom of this. Have they held anyone accountable for the misdealings of John Bruzniak, of Tony Martinez, of the consultants, of the attorneys that ate our lunch in the tune of $179 million? Have you heard that from these candidates? I haven't. The only one that I've heard fight. And one thing I want to state, and we got good viewership here. One thing I want to state, it really bothers me that individuals say, oh, Erasmo, all you do is bitch. Oh, Erasmo, all you do is complain. Oh, Erasmo, all you do is... Well, you know what? He's the only one doing it. Who else is doing it? Who else is fighting for us poor people? Who else is fighting for us 98%? Who else is fighting for us, the small guy? Any Erasmo Castro? And look, I understand. You don't like his approach. You might not like his delivery. You might not like him. But one thing you can agree, ladies and gentlemen, is that he's going to fight. And he's going to be vocal. And he's going to make sure that he holds people accountable at City Hall. His platform has been very clear. I'm going to return the constituents, my people, their money. He's not going to give us 29 million. He's not going to give us 11 million. Quiero todo. I leave you with this analogy. If I go to a bank, ladies and gentlemen, and I steal $100. They catch me, and I only have 20. Nomás tengo 20, perdón. Me lo gasté en unas chelas, unas viejas, uno acá, para acá, I only got 20. What is the cop going to say? What is our district attorney going to say? Frankie only got 20. He only had $20. So it's okay, Frankie. You just give us back the $20 y ahí muere. Juega frío. Ya. Tira León. Or they're going to say, Frankie, you took $100. You best return $100 and maybe plus interest for emotional harm, distress, blah, 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 interest, compound, no sé qué, court cost fees, blah, blah. Shouldn't we feel the same about PUB? They stole from the citizens of Brownsville. Doesn't that piss you off that we have 2 current city commissioners wanting your vote? But have they been fighting for you? Again, you may not like Erasmo Castro. You may not like his approach. You may not like his delivery. You might not even like him. But one thing you can agree on is that he will fight for you. He will ask and demand accountability for that Elon Musk money. And he's not going to give it to the 1%, ladies and gentlemen. You know what he's going to do? People in Southmost, people in Las Prietas, business owners on by Rivera, business owners in la 421, business owners in la Boca Chica, everyone with Erasmo Castro will get a seat at the table. We need to have somebody that's going to be our voice. For far too long, individuals have used our position, whether that be on the city commission, on the BISD, to self-enrich themselves, to get fat off that tit. I encourage each and every one of you to take part in the electoral process. Let's vote for individuals that are going to fight for us and are going to demand where that Elon Musk money is. where that PUB money is, and Erasmo Castro is going to be your champion. And he's not going to ask for 29 million, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me, I speak to the man every day, and every day is we're going to get them suckers 179 million, and I don't give a how we do it, Frankie. And I talk to the man every single day, and the thing that he says and the thing that drives him is my people were taken from 179. I'm gonna give him 179. But between you and us, he says, you know what, Frankie? I'll be satisfied with 120, 140, 150. Again, you're like a businessman. You shoot high, you meet at the middle. 150, hey, you know. But again, he is fighting for you and I. I encourage each and every one of you to take part of the process. The only candidate, ladies and gentlemen, in the mayoral race, there's no question. It is Erasmo Castro. And that, my friends, is the rest of the story. I believe, let's see, let's go through the comments. I went on a tangent here. So between Stormy and Daniels, weak. Better said they punched down. But at the same time, yes, sir. I believe in Maida. I believe in it too, my man. The evil doers, Democrats have to use these tactics because they have no winnable ideas, policies for we, the people. The dimwit have no interest in helping the people of this country. Commissioners know. They know, but you think they want to ruffle feathers, Candela? You think they really want to go and open the books? Why is it now that they're running for office? That now this is an issue. Oh, I want to do this to the zoo. I want to do this for PUB. I want to do this and this and this. You had your time in office and you didn't do nothing. You didn't take action. That is very telling. Those 30 mil shouldn't have spent on Southmost. Should have been spent on Southmost. I agree. Hey, de perdida uno, Tucker. You know how much $1,000,000? Well, nowadays, not a lot, but we could do something, man. It doesn't have to be downtown. I understand, but we need to progress Brownsville as a whole, not just a few. Let's get out of that mentality. These politicos, they're eating our lunch. And you know what? They're laughing all the way to the bank. Y nosotros los pobretones, nosotros que nos tenemos que levantar cada día a machatearle, a buscarle, a sufrir. ¿Nosotros qué? Erasmo Castro, ladies and gentlemen, will be fighting for all of Brownsville. Between the disappearing money and the weak effort for the motivation of our students to go into the engineering field, must have seen that investment more into barril sin fondo. Wouldn't be smart. And I agree. And that's what Zeke Sino was alluding to. He said, hey, he was pissed off. He was pissed off that, he felt and he saw that, only a certain individuals were getting that money. And like any businessman, he was like, hey, man, I'm not down with this. Georgina says, Trump was not even president when this happened. He was a private citizen, but Bill Clinton, good point, was president right inside the White House. He was messing around with Monica Lewinsky. He did not respect the office of president. Donald Trump was not even in office. He was a private citizen. So this is ridiculous. If they do this to a private citizen, they could do it to anyone. Well stated, Georgina. This is terrible when this happens in this country. Paul, you have a good night, my man. Good rent, Frankie. So long the Democrats are in charge, is guaranteed the streets will be paved with doo-doo. So Jessica can create more caliche parking lots and place the steel tanks next to people's homes. No blacktop, no sound barriers, or no blast-proof walls. She doesn't seem to be one us of human. Ask Bernie Sanders, why does he keep running? La feria. So they say you have a good qualifications and come from a good college to run for office. Bull crap. Anyone can run. It's just about the money. If they can steal from us, why would you need to be qualified? Wake up, people. Barely researching. What would you say are the skeletons in the closet for each candidate? It's no secret. I'll stick to the mayoral race. John Cowan. John Cowan has been on the Brownsville Housing Authority. We all know and have heard of these land purchases that him and Sampaio have done for years. They're multi-millionaires. You think they know because they're smart and they went to Stanford and Notre Dame? No, because they have insider information, compadre. If I have that insider information, we'd be banking, baby. John Cowan also has deals with it's all land, guys. Let's not be dumb. Here in the city of Brownsville, anywhere really. If you get land on the cheap and you quadruple it by selling it once you know certain things are coming, that's the way to go. Let's not be dumb. John Cowan has benefited handsomely from being on these boards. Now, currently, he's on BCIC. He doesn't want to get off that. Why? Same thing, insider information. Jessica Tetreault, she was benefiting from, or she is benefiting from her position because she has a car wash and she got a contract with GMS. Is it GMS? The trash? The trash? Is it GMS? The trash as the current city commissioner. So again, I'm not making this stuff up. If I am, bring it up to my attention, but I know they won't. So that's the skeletons in the closet. And Jessica Tetas has all the car washes. Oh, how nice. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time and your attention. It's been a awesome night. Thank you so much to Erasmo Castro for allowing me some time with his viewers. Again, the only candidate for the city of Brownsville worthy to work for the citizens of Brownsville is Erasmo Castro. Early voting, April 26th, all the way through May the 2nd. Election day is May the 6th. Erasmo Castro is the only candidate for mayoralship. Thank you so much for your time and your attention, guys. Hope to see you all soon. Bunchies. Deuces.